All right, so are you ready to kind of unlock some secrets?
Ooh,
Yeah, the
secrets.
secrets of Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. And we've got the book right here ready to break down some of its key insights.
Yeah.
You can think of this as like your crash course into the psychology of seduction. I've got an expert here with me who is going to guide us through it.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical dating advice book, that's for sure. Green really dives deep into seduction as a form of power and strategy that can be applied to basically all areas of life, not just romance.
Okay, so buckle up, everyone. This is going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
So how does Greene like lay out this art of seduction?
Well, he starts by really emphasizing that seduction is a lot about understanding yourself first and foremost, but then also the desires of other people. And he argues that it's an art form, not just like a bag of tricks.
Okay.
And then he introduces these 9 types of seducers.
9 types.
Yeah, each with their own unique allure and approach.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Who's first on this list of master seducers?
First up, we have the siren.
The si
She embodies mystery and allure, drawing you in with an air of danger and excitement. Think Cleopatra or Marilyn Monroe.
the classic femme fatale.
Right.
Yeah. So it's about like playing on those deep-seated fantasies.
Exactly. The siren creates a fantasy, a world of like forbidden pleasure that's hard to resist.
Okay, so that's the siren. Who else do we have?
Next, we have the rake. He is all about passion and intensity. He lives life on his own terms and sweeps you off your feet with his boldness. Think Casanova or Don Juan.
So the rake strategy is all about that whirlwind romance, that overwhelming sense of desire.
Precisely. He makes you feel like you're the only thing that matters in that specific moment, and that can be incredibly intoxicating.
Siren and rake,
Mhm.
two very different approaches. Who's next?
Now we come to the ideal lover. This one's kind of a chameleon, adapting to their target's desires and becoming the embodiment of their fantasies.
So they're like a mirror reflecting back everything that their target wants to see.
Exactly. They tap into those deep-seated longings and become the perfect partner, even if it's just an illusion.
Okay, so that's 3 down, 6 more to go.
6 more.
Keep them coming. Who's next on Green's list?
Let's move on to the dandy. The dandy is all about style nonconformity and really standing out from the crowd. He uses his unique appearance and his attitude to fascinate and intrigue.
So it's about using style as like a weapon of seduction.
In a way, yes. The dandy challenges norms, and that boldness can be incredibly attractive.
All right, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Each archetype has its own distinct approach.
Okay.
What about the next one?
Next, we have the natural. This type embodies kind of the best qualities of childhood.
Okay.
Spontaneity, sincerity, and a playful charm. They kind of disarm you with their genuineness.
So they're like a breath of fresh air reminding you of like a simpler time.
Exactly. They're uncomplicated, full of life, and that can be really refreshing.
Okay, we're halfway through the list. Keep them coming.
Now let's talk about the coquette. She's a master of the push and pull, using flotation and strategic distance to create a sense of longing and desire.
Playing hard to get. Doesn't it get old?
It's all about the execution. The coquette knows that people really value what they have to work for.
All right, the coquette, the master of the game. Who's next?
Next up is the charmer. This type excels at making people feel good.
Okay.
They're attentive and understanding, disarming you with their charisma.
So they're like the ultimate friend, the person that everyone wants to be around.
They make you feel like you're the most important person in the room, and that can be incredibly seductive.
Okay, 2 more to go. Who are we going to say?
Let's talk about the charismatic. This type is a master of captivating a crowd.
Okay.
They radiate confidence. They inspire devotion and draw people in with their magnetic presence.
So think like leaders, revolutionaries. Anyone with that larger-than-life persona?
Exactly. They have a vision, a purpose, and that draws people to them.
Okay, so that's 8. Who is the final player in this game?
Last, but certainly not least, we have the star. They kind of create this captivating and somewhat untouchable persona, standing out from the crowd with their unique style and air of mystery.
So they're selling a fantasy, an image that people want to be a part of.
Precisely. They cultivate an aura of desirability, keeping us wanting more.
Okay, so those are Greene's 9 seductive archetypes, each one with its own unique set of tools and techniques. But he doesn't just talk about the seducers, right? He also talks about the people that they target.
That's right. He identifies 18 different types of victims, each categorized by their unmet needs and vulnerabilities.
So he's saying that everyone is susceptible to seduction. It's just about finding the right approach.
Exactly. The seducer identifies and exploits those weaknesses, becoming the answer to their target's desires.
Wow, this is getting deep. So walk us through some of these victim types. Who are these people who are ripe for seduction?
Well, there's the reformed rake or siren who've given up their seductive ways but secretly long for that thrill again.
So like a retired player looking to get back in the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then there's the novice, wide-eyed and innocent, easily drawn in by someone who appears worldly and experienced.
The ingenue ready to be swept off their feet.
Yeah.
Who else is on the list?
There's the conqueror, driven by a need for control and dominance, seeking to conquer those who resist them.
So you'd have to play hard to get to pique their interest.
Precisely. They thrive on the challenge. Then there's the beauty, used to being admired for their looks, but craving something more substantial.
So they're looking for validation beyond their appearance.
Exactly. They want to be seen for who they are beyond their physical beauty. And then there's the lonely leader, successful and powerful, but often isolated and craving genuine connection.
Someone who appears to have it all but secretly yearns for intimacy.
Precisely. They're surrounded by people with ulterior motives, making genuine connection very difficult.
Okay, so we've got 5 very different types of potential victims, all with their own unique vulnerabilities. What's the common thread here?
They all have unmet needs, desires that a skilled seducer can exploit.
This is really making me rethink like the whole concept of seduction.
Yeah.
It's so much more strategic and psychological than I ever imagined.
That's the brilliance of Greene's work. He peels back the layers of human interaction and reveals this intricate dance of power, desire, and manipulation.
This is an incredible foundation for our deep dive. We've explored the seductive archetypes, the pitfalls to avoid, and even the different types of victims who are susceptible to these charms. But Greene doesn't just categorize these players, right? He outlines an entire process for seduction.
You're right. He lays out a 4-phase process, a step-by-step guide to mastering the art of seduction. It's fascinating, if a bit unsettling.
Well, I'm ready to hear more. Let's dive into those 4 phases.
So we've met the players now. Let's kind of get into the game itself.
Yeah.
Greene's 4 phases of seduction.
Okay,
They kind of provide a roadmap for how this all unfolds.
I'm ready for the playbook. So we know phase 1 is all about like choosing the right target.
Right.
What happens in phase 2?
So phase 2 is called lead astray, creating pleasure and confusion.
Okay,
And it's about drawing your target and making them emotionally invested.
that sounds a bit manipulative. How do you lead someone astray?
Well, it's about playing with their emotions.
Okay.
Greene suggests using suspense, keeping them guessing. Don't be predictable.
So a little bit of mystery goes a long way.
Absolutely.
What else?
Words are powerful tools.
Okay.
Greene calls it the demonic power of words, using language to evoke emotions and plant suggestions.
It's like casting a spell.
Right.
What kind of language are we talking about?
It could be flattery, poetic language. Even a bit of ambiguity can be incredibly effective.
Okay.
Think about how you can use your words to create a mood and a sense of intrigue.
Interesting. So it's not just about what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly. And don't forget the details.
Okay.
Little things matter. Thoughtful gifts, a carefully chosen outfit, a gesture that shows that you're paying attention.
So you're creating a whole seductive atmosphere.
Precisely. It's those subtle touches that make the target feel special, seen.
Okay, so we're keeping them guessing. We're
Ah.
using our words carefully, paying attention to detail. Anything else?
One of Greene's most interesting suggestions, I think, is to poeticize your presence.
Poeticize your presence. What does that even mean?
So it's about being intentional with your appearances and your disappearances.
Okay.
Don't be constantly available.
Right.
Create a sense of longing by making yourself a bit scarce.
Oh, so like a strategic disappearing act.
Yeah. Mhm.
I like it. What else?
This one might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but Greene says that showing vulnerability can make you more attractive.
Really?
Uh,
Playing the victim card can work in your favor.
it's not about wallowing in self-pity.
Right.
It's about letting your guard down, showing a human side, and allowing the target to feel needed.
Okay, so strategic vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in this phase?
Finally, you need to blur the lines between desire and reality.
Okay.
Tap into the target's fantasies and give them a little taste of what they crave.
So making their dreams come true, even if it's just an illusion. I can see how that would be powerful.
It's about feeding their imagination, giving them a glimpse of a world where their desires are fulfilled.
Right.
It's all part of creating that seductive pull.
Wow. Phase 2 is a whirlwind of emotions and strategic maneuvers.
It is.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah, seduction is a delicate dance.
Yeah.
It requires finesse and constant attention.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. We've created that initial spark.
Hmm.
What happens in phase 3?
Phase 3 is called the precipice, deepening the effect through extreme measures.
Extreme measures.
Uh,
This sounds intense.
It is. Now that the target is hooked, you need to deepen their emotional investment, create a sense of no return.
Okay, what kind of extreme measures are we talking about here?
First, you need to prove yourself, go above and beyond to demonstrate your commitment.
Okay,
Grand gestures, selfless acts, anything that shows you're willing to go the extra mile.
so actions speak louder than words at this stage.
Exactly. It's about proving your devotion. Greene also suggests affecting a regression in the target.
Affecting a regression. What does that mean?
So it's about tapping into their childhood desires, their unmet needs,
Okay.
creating a sense of dependency. You're essentially taking them back to a time when they were more vulnerable, more easily influenced.
That's a bit creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking about, like, intentionally making someone act childish?
Think of it more like appealing to their underlying desires for comfort, security, maybe even a bit of innocent fun.
Okay.
You're not trying to turn them into a child, but you are trying to access those primal emotions that can make a connection more powerful.
Okay. I'm starting to see how that could work.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
He suggests stirring up the transgressive and taboo, pushing boundaries, and introducing an element of danger and excitement.
So leading them into uncharted territory, doing things they wouldn't normally do.
Exactly. The shared transgression can be incredibly bonding, creating a sense of intimacy and complicity.
All right, so we're getting a little wild.
A little bit.
What else?
Greene suggests using spiritual lures.
Spiritual lures. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about that.
It's about appealing to the target's higher ideals, their longing for meaning and transcendence. You're framing the seduction as a spiritual union, something deeper than just physical desire.
So elevating the stakes, making it about more than just a fling.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of destiny, a connection that transcends the mundane.
Okay, so we're proving ourselves, we're regressing our target, we're pushing boundaries, and we're appealing to their spiritual side. Anything else in this Phase 3 toolkit?
This is where Greene gets a bit controversial.
Okay.
He suggests mixing pleasure with pain.
Wait, deliberately inflicting pain. That seems a bit cool.
It's not about being sadistic. It's about creating an emotional roller coaster.
Okay.
A contrast that heightens both the highs and the lows.
So a bit of push and pull like the Coquette.
Similar, but more intense.
Okay.
It's about keeping the target off balance, making them crave your validation and affection all the more.
This Phase 3 is a masterclass in emotional manipulation.
It is.
It's fascinating, but I'm starting to see why some people find Greene's work disturbing.
Right. He's certainly not afraid to delve into the darker side of human nature. But remember, he presents this as a strategy, a game. It's up to the individual to determine how they use this knowledge.
Okay, so we've brought our target to the precipice. Their emotions are running high. They're completely invested.
Right.
What's the final act in this seductive drama?
Phase 4. Moving in for the kill. This is where everything comes together, culminating in the physical seduction.
Right, this is where things get real.
Yeah.
What does Greene suggest for this final stage?
First, give the target space to fall. Create a sense of longing that will make them pursue you.
Wait, so after all that intense pursuit, we're suddenly backing off?
Exactly. It's a strategic retreat. Make them come to you, heighten their desire, and let them feel like they're in control.
Okay, I can see the psychology behind that.
Yeah.
What's next?
Once you've created that space, it's about using physical lures to seal the deal.
Physical lures? Like what?
Think about your appearance, your touch, your scent. Anything that will awaken their senses.
So it's about creating an intoxicating sensory experience.
Precisely. You want to overwhelm them with physical magnetism.
Okay, the stage is set. The target is primed and ready. What's the final move?
It's all about the bold move. Seize the moment. Take decisive action. Be confident, assertive, and make your move.
So it all comes down to confidence and decisive action. It's like a chess game. Every move carefully calculated.
That's a good analogy. Seduction is a game of strategy, but even if you win, the game doesn't necessarily end there. Greene also talks about the after effects of seduction.
Oh, right, because it's not all happily ever after, is it?
Seduction can have lasting consequences. Once the initial thrill fades, there's a risk of disenchantment. The target might feel used, and the seducer might feel bored.
So potential for heartbreak and regret on both sides.
Exactly. That's why Greene emphasizes the importance of considering the after effects. Do you want a clean break, or do you want to try to maintain the relationship?
Okay, so let's say you want to keep the flame burning. How do you do that?
If you're aiming for a lasting connection, you have to continue the game, keep the spark alive. Never let them take you for granted.
So keep them on their toes. Maintain that initial mystery and excitement.
Precisely. You're constantly reseducing your partner.
Okay, so that's the long game. What if you're looking for a clean break?
End things swiftly and decisively. Don't drag it out. Don't give false hope.
Rip off the Band-Aid, minimize the pain.
A quick and decisive ending is ultimately kinder.
This is a lot to process. We've gone through all 4 phases,
Yeah,
and it's been quite a journey.
it has.
All right, my mind is officially blown soft seduction, applying these seduction tactics to influencing large groups of people. How does that even work?
Yeah, it's really fascinating how Greene takes these principles of like one-on-one seduction and scales them up to a mass audience. It's still about strategy and manipulation, but it becomes more subtle, almost invisible.
Okay, so we're not talking about like hitting on everyone in a crowded room. It's more about subtly influencing their opinions and actions.
Exactly. It's soft because it's about gently nudging people in a certain direction without them realizing they're being led.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example of how this works.
One key principle is to appear as news, not publicity.
Okay.
People are bombarded with ads and marketing messages all the time, so you have to make your message stand out.
So instead of shouting from the rooftops, you're slipping in under the radar disguised as something newsworthy.
Think about those viral marketing campaigns that everyone's talking about. They're not just selling a product, they're creating a story, an event that captures the public's imagination.
Makes sense. So you're creating buzz, making it feel organic and authentic. What else?
Greene talks about stirring basic emotions. You have to bypass the rational mind and appeal to people's gut instincts.
So tapping into those primal desires that drive our behavior.
Think about those ads that make you laugh or cry or feel a surge of patriotism. They're not just selling a product, they're selling an emotion, a feeling.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. Create a story, appeal to emotions. What else is in this soft seduction toolkit?
Visuals are really crucial. Greene says, make the medium the message. Pay attention to the imagery, the aesthetics, the overall feel of your presentation. It's about creating an experience that lingers in the mind.
So it's not just about what you say, it's how you present it. The look and feel are just as important as the message itself.
Exactly. The visuals, the tone, the overall aesthetic, they all contribute to creating a seductive aura.
Okay, I'm taking notes. Visuals, emotions, storytelling, anything else?
Relatability is key. Speak the target's language. Don't talk down to your audience. Make them feel like you're one of them.
So it's about building rapport, creating a sense of connection.
Exactly. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone they feel they can trust.
Okay, so relatable messaging check. What else?
This is where things get really interesting. Greene suggests telling people who they are.
Telling people who they are. That sounds a bit presumptuous.
Think about those brands that sell a lifestyle, an image. They're tapping into people's desire for identity, for belonging.
So you're giving them a label, a group to identify with.
You're creating a narrative, a story they can buy into. If you use our product, you're one of the cool kids, the rebels, the innovators.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. So soft seduction is about weaving a spell through storytelling visuals and emotional appeals, all while maintaining a sense of authenticity.
It's subtle, but incredibly effective. And as we've seen, these principles can be applied in countless ways, from personal relationships to marketing and even politics.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the seductive archetypes to the 4 phases of seduction, and now this fascinating concept of soft seduction really makes you think.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey into the psychology of power, persuasion, and desire.
You're right.
Yeah.
And as always, it's up to each individual to determine how they use this knowledge. Seduction can be a powerful tool, but it's important to wield it responsibly and ethically.
Well said. Remember, folks, knowledge is power, but power without responsibility is a dangerous thing.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.